Hey everyone, my name is Jason Bell and this is Poker Vlog number 4. I am headed to Casino Coshada in Kinder, Louisiana, which is about a 45-minute drive north of Lake Charles. And I live in Houston, Texas, and so this is going to be a 3-hour and 15-minute drive. Number 1, I hope I can get there. The Hurricane Harvey that happened last weekend and over the past several days from last Friday through Monday or Tuesday really hit Houston pretty hard. I was pretty fortunate that it didn't hit my house, but it was close. It was about 4 blocks east and about 4 blocks south of the floodwaters. We did have several homes in my neighborhood that were underwater. I got lucky. So yesterday we signed up to help with the cleanup efforts, and I've donated enough that I could to different charities to help with the cleanup. I'll put a link below in the description for one of the charities that I donated to if you're interested in doing that. But one thing I worried about is gasoline availability. I'm gonna go to a gas station right now before I head out there and see if they've got availability. I've got about half a tank of gas. We'll see if I can get there, and if I can't, then I'll just turn around and come back home. But in the meantime, let's do it. Let's go play some poker. Okay, I-10 was closed. I had to take a detour south on some highway. It's probably going to be about a 45-minute detour at least. I'm probably not going to be able to make it to Coshada. The closest to here is probably going to be Golden Nugget. I might go back there, even though I didn't bring my player's card for Golden Nugget. Probably should have expected it to bring all my player's cards just in case, but oh well. Hopefully I can get back to I-10. It looked like, looking at the map, there are a bunch of road closures. Probably should have expected this too. But alright, gonna continue on. I'm gonna see what I can do. I will report back when I can. Okay, made it to Louisiana, made it to Lake Charles. Decided to go to the Golden Nugget. It was about a 3-hour drive from Houston. I navigated through, maybe it was about 30 to 45 minutes of detours and flooded waters and all sorts of military trucks going to and from Texas. It was absolutely insane. But I'm here to play some 1-3 Texas Hold'em. I'm gonna get in there, play the best I can, play some smart poker, and provide as detailed analysis as I can. Let's get into it. Alright, just wrapping up a session here at the Golden Nugget in Lake Charles. It was a pretty decent session. I can tell you I am not looking forward to the 3-hour, now infamous drive home back to Houston. There are a couple hands I want to go over. The first one, I'm in the cutoff position and I look down at pocket kings. There are 3 limpers. I raise it to $20 and the under the gun +1 calls. So we're heads up to a flop, which comes king, 10, 8, all spades. So great, I had top set, but flush draw is out there and I'm just like, oh boy. I went ahead and c-bet for 30 bucks. The under the gun +1, thanks for a second, and he raises to $100. Okay, so my thought process here is he probably has the ace of spades. He could have a flopped flush, but I went ahead and re-raised it all in for $230, an additional $230 for me, and he goes into the tank for a while, a good solid 5 minutes. That's good for me, which means he probably did not flop the flush. He probably does have that ace of spades or another really high spade. It could be he had 2 pair, but he goes into the tank for a while and eventually he folds and I take it down. Okay, a little while later I look down, I'm in the cutoff position, and I look down at ace king of spades. So there are 2 limpers and I end up raising it to $20 and both of the limpers call. So we're 3 ways to a flop, which comes jack of spades, 2 of spades, 3 clubs. So I've got the backdoor nut flush draw. It's looking pretty sweet. It checks to me. I bet $30. The under the gun +1, the guy who I played with in the previous hand, re-raises to $100. I end up calling. The turn is the 8 of clubs. The under the gun +1 leads for $100. I contemplate for a second. You know, again, I still have the nut flush draw. It's very likely here that he's got a jack. Maybe he's on a club draw. I seriously doubt it. But it's likely he maybe have like a king jack, queen jack, maybe jack 10 or ace jack. I doubt that he has a pair of jacks. I end up doing a biggest semi-bluff. I end up re-raising him all in for an additional $304. Again, this guy goes into the tank forever. And after about another 4 or 5 minutes, he folds and I take it down. That one was a gut wrencher. My heart was beating about 1,000 times a minute. I was about as nervous as it gets there. If he called, I could have been doomed. But I'm glad that he folded. So it was another big pot I took down. Overall, it was a decent session. I won a couple small pots here and there. I limped in a couple of times on the button and didn't amount to anything. Those were pretty much the only time I limped would be on the button. Other than that, I had pocket aces once, and on one hand there were 3 or 4 limpers, and I raised it to 20. That was a common raise. Everyone always raised it to 20, so I followed suit. And on that hand that I had pocket aces, I raised it to 20, and everyone else folded. A couple other hands, it went to the flop, and I'd c-bet, and all the other players would fold. But it was a pretty good table. Everyone was deep stacked. I ended up bringing 300 to the table. I brought 500 with me for the trip, but I ended up bringing 300, and when I sat down, I didn't realize that everyone at the table had at least $600 or $700 in front of them, at a minimum. So I sat down for 300. I ended up cashing out on the day for $628 for a $328 profit on my end. So I'm pretty excited about that. The poker vlog that I had, where I went to the Golden Nugget, couple months ago. I'm glad that one was erased. That one was a really bad session, so I made up for that one a little bit. And you know, I'm glad to play some poker. It was fun. It was a fun day. But here we go. On my way back to Houston. I think I'm gonna post some of these flood pictures for you guys and see what it really looks like in Houston. I mean, what you're seeing on the news is pretty much it. Houston's in pretty bad shape. So if you can donate, that would be great. You know, any fund that you can. Please donate and help out those people who can't help right now. Okay, so I-10 going east, or going west, back towards Houston is closed right before you get to the Texas border. Stopped and had to ask for directions. I've got to travel back about 20 miles to Sulphur, then go south to hit Highway 82 right along the Gulf of Mexico. So going back to Houston, so far it looks like it's going to be about a 2.5 hour detour. This is absolutely insane. My goodness. I probably sat in parked traffic for a solid hour. Parked. Hopefully this way's better. Okay, and there is the Gulf of Mexico. Right there. I've been driving for almost 3 hours, and I'm about maybe 50 or 60 miles outside of Lake Charles. Been driving for a while. I have probably another 2.5 hours to go, be my guess. And I am finally home. What normally takes about 2.5 hours to get to Lake Charles. It took 3 hours to get there and 5.5 hours to get back. Whew, this is a tough drive. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's off to probably Lake Charles next month again for another poker video. Stay tuned.